All right. Let's see if this is working now. So it wouldn't be a Bronze Age Nerd late night stream without some technical difficulties. We had some heading into the show. I think we're live, though. Let's see if anybody jumps in. Okay, we got 2 viewers. If you guys are in here, welcome to the show. If you could let me know if you're seeing everything okay, I would appreciate it. My camera didn't want to connect, so I had to restart my computer. And when I did that, I had a Windows update that I didn't see that was going to start running. So we had some viewers. Looks like we lost them, which is cool. I get it. I changed the time of the stream too. So everything's fine. Everybody's okay. We just had some family stuff going on. So we had to change the stream time around. Howdy. Howdy, partner, literally. Awesome. That's good to know. So hopefully there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. So even if people don't jump in, hopefully you're watching this on the rewind. We got some cool stuff to talk about. Hey, SG. How you doing tonight? So there's a ton of news, ton of stuff to talk about. I was scrambling to get in here because of technical difficulties. Freaking Windows updates. I was cursing my computer. Didn't seem to help too much. What we have going on, there's really nobody in here, so saying this is kind of silly, but I am doing a super chat giveaway if we get enough to cover shipping. So I'm gonna try this out. This is Gotham City Monsters. It's in pretty good shape. Yeah, it's in really good shape. Just one little ding on the corner there from shipping. And this is a giveaway from Dangerous Waters Comics and more. So this is a sponsored giveaway from them. Well, not really. He sent over some extra books. And like I said, if we get enough to cover shipping on it through super chats, I'll go ahead and give this away through a random generator with your number of dollars you donated. In other words, basically the super chat, and we'll pull your name out of a hat. But if not enough people do that, that's totally fine too. Again, I had to change the night the show was going, and yeah, it's a Tuesday night. It's kind of a weird time, but hopefully there's a lot of news here. So if you are catching us on the rewind, we will get right to it. First up, guys, something I saw on Instagram today. Aegis Comics of Alaska is trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I don't do this super often, but they're really close. I mean, they might even have pushed over. I haven't looked in a minute. But they were at like 992. So if you're watching this, they're a great comic store out of Alaska. We interact sometimes. They come in the live streams. I'm on their social media posts. They've played some of my videos in their store, which is really awesome. That's really cool. So if you want to go over and give them a sub, let's get them over that 1,000 mark. That's a big milestone for a YouTube channel. And I'm sure they're going to sail right past that soon. But if we could help them out, that'd be awesome. So that's one thing I'd like to mention in addition to the super chat prize. Plus, on top of that, really, kind of the sad thing we got to say, the sad news, Norm Mcdonald passed away after a battle with cancer today. I know it's not necessarily super comic book related, but I bet you a lot of people that end up watching this video were either fans of Norm Macdonald or at least aware of him or enjoyed something he was in. So rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. That's really a sad loss. Only 61, which in today's metrics is a pretty young age to go. So that's unfortunate. And the world's a little less funny without you. But yeah, so what else do we have to talk about? I'm going to recap my experiences at Rose City Comic Con. Had a lot of fun there. I've got some stuff to show off I picked up from there. It's already unboxed, so you don't have to watch me unbox anything. But before we do that, we're going to tackle a whole slew of news, a bunch of comic book related news. I might, because this is kind of a lower end live stream, this late night show, which doesn't attract a ton of people. I'm a smaller channel, all that kind of stuff. I might do some recorded content on some of these topics later on. But for now, just to kind of give you a preview of what I'm going to talk about, see if you're interested in sticking around or whatever, if you want to skip ahead to where I talk about it. We're going to talk about the Hawkeye trailer. We're going to talk about the Matrix 4 trailer, because I haven't been on since that came out. We'll talk about Marvel Zombies, both the What If episode that came out, and there's some other news we'll talk about as well. And then we're going to talk about some eBay shenanigans with some interesting stuff that happened with some facsimiles. So if you're probably familiar with that. If not, hey, stick around. We'll tell you about it. I do have a couple more people in here, it looks like. So just as a reminder, it is a super chat giveaway. As long as we cover the cost of shipping, I am going to give away this Gotham City Monsters trade, which is a donation prize from Dangerous Waters. Remember, you can save 10% over at Dangerous Waters using the code BRONZE10 at checkout. So awesome of them to send that over. So let's get right into the juicy fun stuff, the news. So, you know, I know like a lot of people, I'm really excited about a couple trailers that came out over the last week. I expected the biggest trailer for me to be most excited about to be Matrix 4, Matrix Resurrections. And that's an awesome trailer. I was like a lot of fans, I loved the original. I saw the original. I was grounded. One of the few times I was ever grounded in my entire life. And my best friend came over and convinced my parents to let me go watch this movie. The condition is we all had to go watch it together, which was totally awesome. So my parents, my best friend, and me all went to go watch The Matrix. Fell in love with it, like a lot of people. And then a couple sequels came out, and I was not a fan of those sequels. I mean, there's good parts in those movies. The freeway chase in the second movie, Matrix Reloaded, is absolutely just iconic. You know, that whole freeway shootout. You know, parts of the battle for Zion are pretty cool, but in general, I did not enjoy the movies. I thought it was a little too trite, and I didn't really like the tone of them. You could tell they were filmed together too, which sometimes really pays off, like Lord of the Rings or whatever was filmed together, but sometimes it doesn't pay off. I think this is an example where it didn't pay off. So a couple other, yeah, absolutely. The sequels were awful, Copper Age Babe. But the Animatrix was good. If you watch the Animatrix, I thought that was really enjoyable. Some really cool stories, like some of the backstory and stuff, and just, you know, that kind of a precursor to animation anthologies, or just a really good entry in animation anthologies. I really liked them, the stories in that. So I'm hoping this is really good. We got a lot of interesting stuff in this trailer. I think everybody's probably seen it by now, so I think it's safe to talk about it. Spoilers for a trailer is kind of weird anyway. But we have, you know, I think the main talking points that everybody's kind of talking about at this point is it's weird that Neo appears to be inside the Matrix. It's weird that, yeah, absolutely. 2 thumbs up for that one. It's weird that, oh, hey, cool. Newer subscriber. Thanks for the great, hey, you're absolutely welcome, DC Irish. Are you actually Irish? Are you joining in from Ireland right now? Because I'm trying to think what time it would be over there. And are you a DC fan, DC Comics? Oh, we got Comic Journey in the house. Comic Journey is a great channel. Go check out Comic Journey. Yeah, it had some really cool stuff to talk about with the whole Community Comic Book Awards. I might touch on that a little bit in this video. We got a pretty jam-packed dance card, but we'll see if we can get to it. But thanks to both of you for popping in. Since you are new to the chat, and I don't have a lot of people in here, we are doing a super chat giveaway for Gotham City Monsters. This is the trade paperback. This is a prize from Dangerous Waters Comics and more. If I get enough to cover shipping on this through super chats, I'll go ahead and send this out randomly to one of the people that super chatted. We'll do a random number generator for the winner. So yeah, I think, you know, the whole talking points there are why is he in the Matrix? The whole red pill, blue pill thing is really prominent in that trailer. And also, young Morpheus, or a character that seems to look a lot like Morpheus. I don't know if that's been confirmed that it's young Morpheus yet. Just some really interesting stuff in there. You know, characters we wonder, are they architects? Are they this type of character in the Matrix? What's going on? Did they resurrect Neo? All these different things. I'm Irish. Do you see? Huh. Oh, not at all. I mean, my gamer tag on Xbox Live was Irish Sandman, and I've never been to Ireland, but yeah, same thing. I have some Irish blood in me, so and I wanted Sandman because I love the Neil Gaiman story, and I couldn't pick it, so I had to go with Irish Sandman. Trailer's great, but he looks like John Wick. Yeah, a lot of jokes about, is this John Wick? Is that what's going on? Yeah, man. Well, and all the vampires, and then again, all the people watching on the rewatch here too. We got Economics and Comics in the house. After you're done watching this video, go check out an awesome unboxing he did for some Jay Ferguson original art, Department of Truth cover. Really a sweet piece. Congratulations on getting that, Billy. So my personal little theory that I will share about the trailer. It's not really a theory. It's just my observation, because I've been watching What If, because I've had What If on my mind. The whole trailer to me, and I don't think this is what's going on, it's just what stuck out to me, it's my perception or whatever, was, wouldn't it be cool if the movie was, what if Neo had taken the blue pill instead of the red pill? I think that'd be kind of neat. I don't know what you guys think about that. But I thought it'd be pretty cool. Yeah, it's late over there. I am going to be trying to do these shows a little bit earlier as much as possible. But it's tough just when I usually can do them. Hey, there you go, man. Well, there's 2% that's got a little Irish in you. You're welcome, man. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome art. So yeah, anyway, that's my thought on the Matrix trailer. I think it looks good, but I'm cautiously optimistic on a trailer like that. The other trailer, though, that I want to talk about is the Hawkeye trailer. And I do have some more people jumping in here, so I won't, there is a super chat prize, by the way. If I can cover the cost of shipping, I'll give that out. The other things I want to talk about today, I'm going to talk about Rose City Comic Con. I'm going to talk about some eBay shenanigans going on with facsimile editions. It's kind of been creeping up left and right. And the other thing that I shared that I'd just like you guys to know is go support Aegis Comics of Alaska. Let's try to get their channel above 1,000. They're super close. They actually hit 1,000, and then a couple people unsubbed, and that happens to all of us YouTube channels. But that's a good milestone for a smaller YouTube channel that's trying to get bigger. So let's try to help them out. And then also, as we talked about, rest in peace, Norm Mcdonald. That is a really unfortunate bit of news that kind of hit me in a weird way today, like just out of nowhere, So I think we're all kind of feeling that when we heard about it. The other thing too that I'll bring up, since I do have a few people in here, I'm doing an auction on Friday. I was able to secure some childcare. Thank you to my parents. So I'll start the auction at a reasonable time this time. It's going to be this Friday, which is what, the 17th? Yeah, Friday the 17th. I'm going to start it at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Or actually, sorry, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully that's pretty good. I'm gonna have a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna have some modern books that are kind of some cool little lots I put together. I think they're cool. Hopefully you guys agree. I'm gonna have slabs. I'm gonna have some spec stuff that's kind of hot right now, like Oblivion Song and some stuff like that. And then I'm also going to have slabs and stuff too. And all my slabs will be shipped in slab shippers. So they'll get to you nice and safe. Those are awesome. So another little bit of news, while you're here, just make sure to free up your Friday and save that paycheck. Hopefully we can have kind of a cool auction, and hopefully I'm not competing with 6 other auctions at the same time. And if I am, check this one out. It's going to be a good one. So yeah, the Hawkeye trailer. So the Hawkeye trailer very much followed the Matt Fraction storyline, which we knew if you've been following the news for that trailer. I think one thing that was interesting about it, spoilers for Black Widow if you haven't seen it yet, but we know that the new Black Widow, or I don't know if she's going to be Black Widow or White Widow. We know that she's going to be coming. Thanks a lot, Comic Journey. That should be almost enough to cover the cost of shipping there. So maybe if we get one other person in there, we can do a little drawing here at the end and give away that graphic novel. That's funny, man. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have White Widow coming or Black Widow, whatever she's gonna be called. Florence Pugh. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Her character coming for Hawkeye. Should be kind of interesting. But we did get our first look at Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop. which I'm excited for. I'm not super familiar with that actress, but I think that character is really neat. And I'm excited to see what the translation looks like. It looked like we were going to get some of that kind of humor. You know, we got the tracksuit mafia, we got the dog, we've got, you know, all the elements from that story. It looks like I'm really excited. I got like some Die Hard vibes from it too. So I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It put a bigger smile on my face than I expected. Yeah, hey man, I got it. You know, I got plenty of live streams coming up. You know, those cherries need popping too. Remember the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, the ska band from like the 90s, Zoot Suit Riot and all that stuff? Just reminded me of that. What a name, man. Like, what are you listening to, son? Oh, the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. But yeah, I think that trailer looked really great. I don't know what you guys all thought about it. I think it's going to be kind of maybe the Marvel thing that I'm looking forward to the most since maybe WandaVision. Like, Loki was really cool, but the thing about Loki is Loki felt off to me, like the actual character of Loki, because that character is supposed to be right after the events of Avengers, and he was acting like post Ragnarok Loki the entire time. It was a little strange. I still liked it a lot though. So the other thing, let's see if I can do this right. So I'm going to switch over to my little desktop view here. If you guys lose audio for a second, let me know right away in the chat so I can fix that. Nope, I did that wrong. There we go. You gotta look behind the curtain into OBS there. So I'm gonna kind of just use this as a talking point here. First off, you know, small spoilers. I'm not gonna go into plot details that much about the What If episode, but I am gonna talk about it a little bit. But we do get news that we have the Marvel Zombies. Oops. You gotta look behind the curtain no matter what I do here. Okay. So it's hard for me to see chat and do it at the same time, so I want to poke back over just to make sure, because I did lose audio one time doing this, and I want to make sure you guys can still hear me. You can see my stream analytics. Oh boy. Gotta figure out a better way to do that. It's really tough the way that I display my chat. So, oh, did that just, there we go. God, getting these stream kinks worked out, guys. Getting your kinks worked out. That's what she said. But about the What If episode, let's stay on topic here. What a train wreck this has turned into, huh? I was so excited for that episode. I actually had just kind of reread the Marvel Zombies stuff, the Kirkman stuff, you know, all that. I was a fan of it at the time. I know zombies got kind of played out for a while, but I enjoyed it. A lot of the supplemental stuff, you know, Marvel Zombies 3 or whatever with the Midnight Suns and all that kind of stuff. Not necessarily as exciting to me, but I was so excited, and I didn't love the What If episode. I think it was weird. I mean, so this is the most minor of spoilers, I guess, that I could offer. The Marvel Zombies were intelligent zombies. They were still themselves. They just had like the need to feed. I got the need to feed. Little Top Gun joke for you there. It was weird because they were just like, they could still use like their weapons and stuff, but they weren't talking. It kind of took away part of the dynamic for me. Like, I just didn't enjoy it as much. Maybe they tried it that way and they thought it was too corny. I mean, it was admittedly a different plot than the original story. So that's maybe where this comes in. As you guys have all been reading by now, Marvel Zombies live action show or movie may be in development. I'm just going to check into the chat again real fast. Yeah, it's free, dude, but it's only free in certain resolutions, and you have to have their crappy background and stuff. Like, I'm not going to use StreamYard. I will get this down. I admit there's definitely going to be a learning curve. Yeah, I do too. Especially like all the homage covers are great. Yeah, it's been hit or miss for me as well. That's true. Um, anyways, it sounds like you guys can all hear me, so that's good. That's the part I wanted to make sure we had going on for sure. Okay, back to this. So this came out that Mark Millar said that Marvel Studios may be developing a live action adaptation of Marvel Zombies. And that's really the thing I wanted to talk about here. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It's like any of these rumors that come out. Who knows? But Mark Millar definitely could be tapped into what's going on over there. So I'm excited for this news because I didn't really get the Marvel Zombies that I wanted. But here's the weird part about that. I guess they could still do it. I was just thinking, like, if you don't have all the actors, like if you don't have Robert Downey Jr. as like zombie Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, Tony Stark, that's disappointing to say the least, because that would be fun. I'm trying to go, who are the other major players in the storyline? Like Spider-Man, of course, they could do that. Steve Rogers, they could do that. I guess we haven't really heard for sure if Chris Evans is, I guess we know he's coming back for one movie, is kind of at least what the rumor is. Hulk is kind of a character that's important in it. Giant Man for sure. And Wolverine a little bit. So it's interesting news, I think. And I think that we can definitely, look forward to that. But again, I just don't enjoy it. They're going to really mess up the Marvel Zombies concept by dedicating a movie to... I hope you're wrong, but I know exactly where you're coming from. I'm worried about it, but it's just like, when I heard about the new Matrix movie, I was like, oh God. And then the trailer was awesome. I mean, maybe that doesn't mean the movie's going to be awesome, but maybe there's a hope, right? I think that's the big takeaway is there's hope. We got like 6 people in here. So let's move on to some of the other stories and headlines. And really that's the last bit of news here. Let's get that back up. That's what she said. Which is this whole facsimile thing on eBay. We're about a day away from calling it like facsimile gate or something. So it got brought up again because the ultimate fallout for I think they're just calling it a facsimile reprint. Like they used to do True Believers and they've kind of taken that logo off, and that's part of what we're going to talk about. They came out with that recently, and the cover is different. It's slightly different. The position of the barcode is attached to the bottom spine side of the comic book, which is kind of the modern way that Marvel prints their barcodes, where it was kind of a floating box in the previous version of the cover. And then the Marvel logo is red. I can't remember what color it was on the original cover. I have it down here somewhere, but I'm not going to dig it out right now. And yeah, so there's a couple slight differences, but it looks virtually identical. If you're not looking for those two things, they're morons to an extent. They're ignorant, and that's kind of the problem here. They're ignorant, and not everybody does their homework on every book, and maybe they should, but there's two problems here. The sellers are obviously being unethical. I mean, that literally the most egregious one, kind of the deal here. I never really finished that. The deal here is that people were listing them on eBay, and they were selling for more than they should have for a new book that just came out, like way more than reasonable. But also at least one that I saw was listed as a first print. And this happened with Hulk 181 not that long ago, a reprint. No, he wasn't putting facsimile in the title. I haven't seen the description on that listing because it's sold and I haven't dug it back up yet. But yeah, it's pretty sketch, man. Like the guy is being totally deceptive. And when you call it a first print, you could make a small distinction that it's a first print of that edition, but nah, that's bullshit, man. Like it's not cool in my book to do that. But the other part of this to me is it's on Marvel a little bit here. I don't necessarily like the true believers across the entire top. No, that book just came out. They didn't like walk through or anything like that. So they're raw books, but they're selling for hundreds of dollars. And we're talking about a comic book that just came out that's a reprint. That's, I mean, I guess I could see it for selling for $5 or $10 would probably be a fair high price for it. I mean, you should probably really be selling for cover price, but hey, comics are weird in 2021. So the real problem I have with this is that Marvel, all the way at the bottom, so he was hiding it in the description, probably just to cover his own butt when somebody asked for a refund. But thanks for that information, Comic Journey. I wasn't sure about the description. Thank you. Marvel needs to make it clearer in some way. I mean, as long as you list them the correct way, and if people spend more money for them, that's where I agree with Comic Journey. That's if you're listing it and saying what it is, and people are spending money on it, yeah, then you're a moron. But if you're not familiar with what it looks like, I mean, at least have some visual difference on the cover that is easy to tell from looking at two thumbnails side by side, like a different colored logo, something like that. Our copies are on the way, honey. Don't worry, we'll list them on eBay. Yeah, that's the thing, is he wrote first print in the title. Like that, it literally said like 1ST first print. Which people look for, people, oh, you're saying it's a first print. And I don't think there's any way you can legitimately say that's a first print, and not be a shyster. No, it was a new account, that had like 18 feedback, if I recall correctly. And only 2 of those were as a seller. And then I'm not on Facebook, so I can't confirm this. I saw one person saying that it was somebody who had done something shady on a Facebook group. I could be totally wrong about that, but that's just what I saw people saying. But I couldn't verify because I'm not on Facebook. Or I don't even know if I could have found it if I was on Facebook. So to me, this is just a really bad look. And I'm not completely blaming Marvel, because at the end of the day, there are people that want like near identical replicas for whatever reason. There's people that want classic books, major keys that they can go get signed or whatever. And I get that there should be something for them, but like there needs to be some clearer representation of what it is. Now you could make the argument that back in the day, like in, let's say, the 80s, a really good example is G.I. Joe 21. G.I. Joe 21 is the first print. If you look at it, has a little Spider-Man head in the bottom corner box, the UPC box, and it's clear, like that kind of white, non-colored in head, Spidey head, on the first print. On the third print, it's colored in black. And you're going to say, what about the second print? And G.I. Joe 21's weird. There are like 2 or 3 examples I've ever seen of a second print of G.I. Joe 21. There's a lot of theories about what happened with it. Some people say that they skipped that print run and they noticed it, and then they printed off a few that were second print. Some people say that they all went in like toy store multi-packs. It's a weird deal. But anyways, there's a subtle difference there, but it is a difference. And then of course inside in the fine print, it says third printing on all the later printing ones, or second print. There's a couple out there that do say second print, literally a couple. Yeah, he might get screwed on that one. But especially because people are onto it. Like if people didn't start talking about it, I know like, was it Journo's messaged him or whatever, I think. I'm so sorry if I have that wrong. And he got some feedback from him. I'll give it up for Journo. Like he definitely exposes shenanigans like that, and I appreciate that. But it just as the community, first off, a warning to anybody watching this: you need to be careful if you're seeing a deal that looks too good to be true on eBay. That's one thing. You need to like there's a really great website that I use. There's way different ways to look this up. But one thing I like, just because I think it's an easy way to search, is League of Comic Geeks. If you type in any comic book, Ultimate Fallout 4, League of Comic Geek review, it'll bring up a page, pretty much the first result. You click on that and it'll show every cover for that book. I haven't found a mistake on there yet, including like store exclusives and variants and stuff. And it's really just an easy to look at gallery for me. So that's why I like it, because a lot of variants, like I try to identify by like what the cover looks like, right? Like instead of knowing like, oh, it's the, this company, Unknown Comics exclusive, or the Economics and Comics exclusive. There you go, man. Whatever it is, it's an easy way to go look that up. So I recommend going to look that up if you're looking at a comic and you're like, oh boy, what other covers are there? Yeah. Okay. So it was Journo. I had that right. So Comic Journey says Journo called him out and the guy wrote back basically to F off, told him to F off and mind his own business. Yes. And I mean, we're not exactly breaking news with the first appearance of an unscrupulous eBay seller. Hey SG, thanks a lot, man. All right, guys. So we're at the giveaway mark. If you want to win this copy of Gotham City Monsters, we'll do a random generator at the end. Because I can cover shipping on it now. That's a comic that's brought to you by Dangerous Waters Comics and more. They were nice enough to donate that for our giveaway here. So let me just write this down. And we'll do the giveaway near the end. And then SG. So the more dollars you donate, the more chance you have to win that. Because if for example, if you donate $7, you get 7 entries to win, essentially is how that works. Yep. Buyer beware and use your brain. Absolutely. There's a lot to this. I think it's an interesting topic. But to me, the clarion call here is you need to do your homework when buying comic books, especially like, if you're going after something to fill out your run, you probably don't need to be as careful if you're picking up, see if I can pull a random number here. G.I. Joe 64, something like that. Ooh, we got economics and comic. Oh, why is that cut off? That's not cool. Aw, he's going to tell me to use StreamYard now. That's probably what he's going to say. But yeah, we got economics and comics in the house. You want to win some graphic novels? Graphic novel. So you are, you're 15. Cool. So good luck, guys. $5. Yeah, I saw the amount. But for some reason, it's just when I highlight it, it's cut off. Like I can see the whole chat. It's just that for some reason it highlights. It's weird because that one, like it cuts off the bottom here, but I can see the rest. It's like this whole thing where I have to like kind of just like manually choose how much of the window I want to show. I bet you if I Kim sent me G.I. Joe 69. So dude, she wrote into the letters column in the back of G.I. Joe, and she kept giving me like, hey, check out the letters columns. I don't have all the floppies like open to the point where I can look at the letters column in the back. But I think I figured out which issue it is, and I want to go look at it. But I don't have a copy of it. It's the first appearance of Serpentor, which I think it's not 48. Is it 45? I can't remember. That's probably why. But yeah, good luck to you. But yeah, I think the moral of the story here is you got to be careful when you're looking at eBay auctions, and you have to definitely do your homework. I recommend checking out a place where you can see the different versions, like different printings, different ratios. I've seen people, all kinds of manipulative eBay entries out there, and it's just really sad. It's one thing to gamble for a couple of bucks. If you're looking to start spending real money, you need to do your due diligence. Absolutely. But it kind of comes to me back to the whole thing where it's this old classic story. Like if you have a son and he leaves his bike out in the front yard and the next morning it's gone, somebody stole it, right? Is it your son's fault? Is he the one that's to blame? or is it the thief? And you could say it's both, you could say whatever, but I tend to think that it's the thief's fault, because in an ideal world, that bike should just stay there. I can't stand thieves, and to me, this sort of like dishonest listing practice that we see on eBay is absolutely it's unethical, and it drives me nuts. Hold on, we got another super chat coming in here. You can wait till you get a break and you're subject to answer. Okay, let me highlight this here. And yeah, it's gonna run off, so I'll read it. I started collecting when the controversy happened on Spider-Man 601, and now have focused on Campbell covers. Is there a Campbell cover that you think is underrated that I should have on my radar? So that's a super chat. Let me get your super chat down first. And you said I can wait till I'm done. I'm basically wrapping up on that topic, though, so we can kind of move on. It's a great question, and I appreciate your donation. Absolutely. So thank you for that. If I can learn how to write. And yeah, Craig 69 is a huge J. Scott Campbell fan, but I'm also a pretty big J. Scott Campbell fan. I'm not saying I have as big a collection as Craig does, but absolutely. He comes around every once in a while. So Economics and Comics, if you're not familiar with DC, Economics and Comics is a YouTube channel. He's a much larger YouTube channel than I am. 10,000 plus subscribers. It's a great place to go watch for like your FOC videos, to learn about every comic book that's coming out. For example, and yeah, he's on Instagram. He's Craig Boer. And his fans are called Sickos, and Craig is like the OG sicko essentially, and has a huge J. Scott Campbell collection. But let's get to your question. Ones that I think are really underrated. I wish I could do this a little bit easier and show you. There's a, let's see if I hide live chat. So I want to answer this question because I like it. It's Legal Comic Book Defense Fund, Abby Chase. What is that called? There's this cover that was for like this free speech special for Danger Girl. God, it's the Legal Comic Book Defense Fund. Is that what it is? Oh, I'm such a dope trying to figure this out. It's a see if I can find it. It's like some 4-letter abbreviation. It's kind of a rare comic. It's like the free speech or like First Amendment cover. It's absolutely exciting, I know. Yeah, it's so rare that I'm having a hard time finding it. See if I can catch up with chat here. Oh yeah, Pete Martinez in here. Hey, what's up? How's it going, man? I'm highlighting your chat. I just did the highlighting thing. But it's basically, I'm really hoping I could find it. J. Scott Campbell. It's gonna be really hard to narrow down. Shoot. Picture's worth 1,000 words on when you're asking what a really good rare cover is, so I was hoping to find it. And I have a copy of it. The thing is, it's off at CGC, and I can't remember. It was like really hard to locate in their system too, to like say, hey, this is what this is. So that's one I'd recommend if you're looking for one. I think the Danger Girl #2 cover is really good. It's the one where she's coming out of the bubble bath. Let's see if I can do this. Nope, not even close. There we go. So it's like this one right here. Right there. Also that the original cover for that issue right there is also a pretty hard to find one. I was gonna see, maybe that cover would just come up. Actually, this Baroness cover right here is a good one too. I can't really see it when I'm highlighting it like that. I don't have this set up for Google Images, but anyways, there's some good covers there. But that's a really good topic. Let me see if I can catch up with everything else here people are talking about. Yeah, the Renew Your Vows cover is pretty good too. But I mean, those are, I mean, I think you asked specifically about rare ones, right? Underrated, under the radar. And yeah, those are ones that I think are a little bit more rare. They're so rare that I can't find it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Rather than watching me do a Google search, get back to work. I appreciate that. Let me roll another. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, K-pop. Welcome to the show. Sorry you joined when I was fumbling for a cover that I can't find. You're a J. Scott Campbell fan. Do you know what I'm talking about with that free speech cover that he did? It was kind of a rare one. Nah, man. I was going to look for it. Yeah, night, Billy. I hope you have a good night. Yeah, I understand that. Luckily, I had somebody sell me a second copy of it because my copy is a newsstand that I've had, and I'd kind of like to submit it. It goes for a good chunk in a newsstand, like in a 9698. But it's like legal. It's not the Legal Comic Book Defense Fund, which is probably why I can't find it. But it's something like that. So that's one that I would highly recommend if you're looking for it, for some underrated, under the radar style J. Scott Campbell covers. What else did he do that's kind of cool? I mean, there's so many ones of his that I really like. There's he did like a really cool Harley Quinn Villain of the Year cover, that's like a trading card cover, which there's been a lot of those now. But it's like Joker going one way and Harley going the other, like that, like the face card kind of style. Oh, it's all good. It's all good for ASM 10. Okay. As far as like speculation, Pete, I don't know why I called you Peter, probably Peter Parker on my mind. Is it the first punchline? Like, so is it, that's the origin story, or is it, because that came out way after, right? Yeah, all his Gen 13 covers are really good. Like the one where Fairchild's on the cover and like the Savage Land style get up's really good. And all like I think Gen 13 1 from the original series is really good too. Yeah, you're a huge Fathom fan, right? I mean, Fathom, the art's great. The story, I found the story to be a little lackluster myself, but I think the art's great. undeniably. So if I can think of other covers or if I can find that, DC, do you follow me on Instagram? Because I will post that cover when I find a picture of it. I just don't want to spend like forever looking for it on stream. But it's kicking my butt that I can't remember that. So if you guys want to talk about any cool covers or whatever, you know, maybe I'll answer a little bit more quickly. But I'm going to move into talking about Rose City Comic Con. You know what, actually, two things to talk about real fast before that, just super quick. First off, I got sent a birthday present. I know there's a glare on it, but so that's my Savage Land Rogue Ebass signed print. Ebass signed it right there. And so Headless Hammerhead, who you see on YouTube chat sometime, who is, by the way, the owner of Dangerous Waters Comics, sent me that as a birthday present. That's a Ebass Baroness signed print, and that's really cool. Thank you. Yeah, I just saw K-pop say the Janet Jackson homage for Gen 13 one for the ongoing. That was a really good one as well. And then, so I'll talk about Rose City Comic Con. One of the people I met there is Frank Cho, and that's a Frank Cho signed print. That's the signature right there. The Harley Quinn still fits art. Yeah, it's Bronze Age Nerd, DC. Yeah, absolutely. They're great artists. From that kind of like pinup style art. They're just fantastic. And then the other thing too is I will going to go over my Rose City pickups / things I got in the mail, but I have one kind of oddball, which is I saw this at Walmart and I was really stoked to get one of the Winter Guard, Dark Star. So that's really cool. So picked her up, and I don't know if I ever do want to get Ursa Major. At least I got the body for him there. Which I guess I thought maybe that was a Sasquatch mole, but I don't think it is. Oh, that's cool. So yeah, that's gonna be really sweet. So there's that. But yeah, let's talk about Rose City Comic Con. So I went to technically my second Comic Con. I also went to Wizard World Comic Con in Portland a few years back, about 5 years ago probably, and you know, I met James Marsters there with my wife, and got Matt Smith's autograph and John Barrowman. I really want to go meet Karen Gillian and have her sign the same print or another print that I can pair up with that Matt Smith print someday. Yeah, you can find a lot of them. People don't. There's some of his covers people don't think about, and then they just randomly blow up because they get put on, you know, Dollar Bin Diving on Key Collector or something like that. But so I went to that con, which is really more of a celebrity con. And then this was, you know, a real Comic Con. And I don't want to say that one wasn't real. I mean, there were comic books there. Like, you know, Jamie Tyndall was there when I went. I got Bob Camp's autograph on a copy of my childhood copy of G.I. Joe 11. I got Kurt Busiek to sign my Thunderbolts 1 comic book there. So, I mean, there were people there at Wizard World. It was a great experience, and my family had given me a present to go there, and this was something very similar. Kind of my birthday present. My birthday was on the 6th. Was that we got to exactly Amy Pond, Amy Pound. Is that a Freudian slip, or are you intentionally saying it? Because when she first shows up in that cop outfit as like the strippergram or whatever it is, yeah. Yeah, we'll absolutely get to that. I did pull all the X-Men stuff that I picked up at the con from this, because that'll be covered in my ongoing X-Men run, running down Xavier's Dream, which I'm probably the only one in the world that likes that title, but I like Tom Petty and I like the X-Men, so there you go. So this was kind of my birthday present, was a chance to go to Rose City Comic Con, and of course, after I finally got the timing lined up and you know, somebody to watch my daughter, my wife was awesome enough to watch my daughter while I went. And you know, I was a little nervous because of Delta going on and everything, but they did a really good job with the masks required. They were, you know, vaccination or proof of a negative test, all that kind of stuff, really spread out. Like if you see my pictures and stuff of the event, it looks like nobody was there, but it was just really spread out. They did an awesome job. So, a bunch of people canceled. Brian Michael Bendis canceled, for example. That was one of the people I was really excited to see there. So just I'll say real fast, the people that I went there and did see and meet were Tony Fleeks, and Frank Cho, which I just talked about, and I cannot pronounce his last name, but the creator of Black and White, Kwanzaa. I'm gonna call him Kwanzaa. Oh, I can't remember his last name, like how you say it. I've never heard it said out loud. And I had a really cool conversation with him, actually. So I met those people, and then I just, checked out everything, just a bunch of bins, and looked at all the overpriced wares that people were selling, and, light up Starship maps and lightsabers and all that kind of stuff, and checked out, cosplay, and just had a good time, right? Like just being in my happy place, like just full of comic books and nerd stuff. It was just really a great time. And just had some cool experiences there. So the first thing that I did when I got there is actually met up with, you've probably seen him on YouTube, especially if you're a fan of economics and comics. He's on there all the time. He also watches a lot of my stuff, and I appreciate that. Buddy. So I knew he was going to be there. We kind of like both talked about it. He lived kind of local to it ish. Not really. It was kind of a long drive for him too. But we both were going there and met up and kind of walked around for a little bit. And one of the things we were both happy to see, we both wanted to go talk to Tony Fleeks. And the thing that we were happy to see is that CBCS was there, which is really cool. So one of the things that was interesting about this, and this is kind of an interesting little story, is so I was looking for a facilitator for CGC. And I saw somebody on the CGC forum saying they were going to be at Rose City Comic Con. I was like, oh, cool. I have no idea how that works. I've only ever submitted to online the in-house signing events for CGC. I've never had a witness signature. So I messaged him, and I was basically just like, hey, what do I got to do? Do I got to make appointments? What do we got to do? And he's like, no, I'm going to be there. Bring your books, put all your information on the backing board. And I'm going to say something in a second. I just want to say everything he said was fine and professional. No problem. I'm not going to talk about his name or anything like that. But it got weird at the end because I said, okay, well, what is the cost, besides the, oh, hey, right on. Hey, Moonlit, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. What's the cost for doing this? And he said, it's a standard fee for whatever tier. Plus I have a facilitator fee. And then I charge shipping because I have to ship the books off. And I was like, oh yeah, that's totally makes sense. So what's the fee? And he replied back with something like, or I was like, oh, are you going to take, cash, card, whatever? Do you invoice me? Do I need to bring cash? Something like that. And then I said, and what's the fee again? And he replied back, yes, I take cash. And he never said. And I said, hey, just to be super clear, like I'm trying to make sure I bring enough money for you. And also I just wanted to know, like, I want to know, is he going to charge $10? Is he going to charge $50? Like, what's his fee for this? And he never replied. Like he just wouldn't answer that question. Essentially, like I messaged him like 4 times. So I just decided I'm not going to do that because I didn't want to bring a bunch of books that I may decide I didn't want to get signed. It's just, it's a lot to bring with you. And if there are books that are high dollar and high grade, you're taking an extra risk by carrying them around, all that kind of stuff. Which by the way, I've been using these Gemini boxes, these shippers. This one is kind of closed specifically because I have some larger books in there, so I'm not having it closed all the way. But these are really awesome. They come with like these cardboard inserts, and you can just add bubble wrap on top of that if you don't fill it up. And I'm using them to store stuff for filming or whatever right now that I'm going to do later in the week. But I took a couple of those with me, and that's a great tip. Take those with you, and you can load up your comics inside of them, and they keep them very safe. As long as you have it full or have some packing material or whatever. So I brought a couple of those with me. It was funny because Buddy brought a couple with him too. And so I kind of struck out with this CGC facilitator, and I'm like, all right, well, screw it. I'm still going to bring a couple of Mr. Fleek's books, Tony Fleek's books. So I brought a copy. I can't remember what issue it is, but Las Vegas is this really cool cover of Las Vegas that he did that I found. And it was just weird. I searched for his stuff on, I think I ordered from Midtown, and that came up, and I was like, that's a cool cover. It's like a Fallout New Vegas-y kind of looking cover. It's like a space girl with like the round helmet, like laying face down on like a roulette table. And, it's kind of a booty cover. You can see her, she's laying down. You can see her butt. a little bit, but it's it's pretty pinup B girl kind of art. It's not like over the top, but that's an unusual thing for me to see from him because I'm used to the Stray Dogs covers. And then I brought a couple Stray Dogs covers. I brought the Dracula homage, and I brought the 28 Days Later homage because I just had them. I had some extra copies. And I'm a short box guy. I would love to do long boxes, but I just don't have room to put them anywhere. I have, if my closet was deep enough for long boxes, it would be super convenient, but I do the BCW drawer houses. And if I had a long box, they'd be sticking out in the middle of like my closet. And so I had to do short boxes, but I wish I could do long boxes. They're so much more efficient for space. But what I want to do is a legal size filing cabinet. That's my goal. To do one of those, and then you can like put them in like different columns essentially, and you can fit a ton in one of those. That's my eventual goal, but I kind of want to wait till I can get to an office supply store and pick up a used one for cheap. So we go over to the CBCS tent, grab a facilitator. I won't say his name because I'm gonna say a couple things. He was a totally awesome guy. Just in case he said something he wasn't supposed to say or whatever. I don't want to get him in trouble. But I found out some interesting stuff from him. He waited in line with us. There's only a couple people ahead of us, but unfortunately for us, one guy was getting like a bunch of stuff signed. So it took a while. But Buddy got something signed. I got something signed. Do I separate? No, I don't. The only things I separate out are stuff I'm planning on selling, stuff I'm planning on submitting, and then like signature books. All my books that are signed are kind of like in a separate box. And then I have like actually right next to me, I have like my higher dollar books that are like, am I going to submit this or not? Like I'm not really submitting anything right now, so I'm going to kind of wait till I do some submission in the future probably. But I have everything alphabetical by title. I use my own, like there's different versions of alphabetizing. Like some people, the counts and some people the doesn't count or whatever. So I have my own system for that I use for everything, but I use CLZ. So I kind of go off what CLZ says now, just because it's more convenient for me to have, like, if I'm looking for a comic, it's in the exact order that CLZ says it's in. And that's kind of my database for all my comic books. So I mostly have switched over to that, but I don't like stuff because it's like, if like I have the Dresden Files comics, well, technically they're Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files comics. To me, it's the Dresden Files and it belongs in D for Dresden, not under J for Jim Butcher. Anyways, hey, have a good night. Thanks for stopping in, K-pop. But yeah, that's an interesting question. So we wait in line. We get Tony Fleeks to sign some stuff. He actually had some of his one per store variants that were comps from him. So Buddy and I each picked up one of those to get signed, and those will go through CBCS. And God, it's super cheap to do that. Like at the show, like, I mean, it's ridiculously cheap compared to like submitting your own books or whatever to CGC. So I was really impressed with that service. It was really painless. You just like, the witness watched everything. I was like, do you need to like handle these now? He's like, no, it's cool. Whatever. And he just watched me walk back to his booth. We filled out a form and that was it. It was super easy. Only waiting in line I had to do was for the two people in front of me in Tony's line. So that was really awesome. Tony was an awesome guy. It's all good, dude. I'd rather have people interact. I'm just kind of like telling my story. People can jump in. My bad, man. I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but I'm getting buzzed. But do you have, congratulations, by the way, that's awesome. Do you have like a box for like books that you haven't read but want to read, or like book day, or do you like store them away? So I think the primary thing that's going to answer most of this question for you is I'm primarily a digital reader now. Like I collect physical comic books. I have, at one point I had thousands of comic books from my entire history of collecting that I sold like 5 years ago now, or 4 years ago now, 4 years ago now, I guess. I sold 90% of those. And so I kind of, at that time, I was picking up trades every once in a while, and I kind of moved away from reading like individual raw comic books for the most part. So the stuff I buy, by and large, it's mostly for spec or to hold on to, or to just to own, I mean, just a physical copy to own, which is kind of a weird thing to say. But then I enjoy like kind of like Netflix. I enjoy like binge watching. I enjoy binge reading. So I enjoy like I have a Samsung tablet. It's like a 10-inch tablet or whatever. And I just read through everything on Comixology because I love the guided view. Part of it was my eyesight. Like I got new glasses recently, but my eyesight was getting worse, and it was so much easier to read. Like especially because when you do the guided view on Comixology, I'd love to do a demo. Sometimes people don't know what it is. Sometimes it like zooms into each panel, and if like you tap or swipe, it goes like they preload in how you're supposed to read the book, and it'll like dynamically change to like whatever part of the page you need to be reading, or like it'll zoom out on cool shit, it'll zoom in on cool stuff. It's pretty neat. So that's how I mostly do it now. But I still do read some floppies, but the ones that I am going to read, I just file in with everything else. The way I have it right now is really disorganized. I have like some new boxes I got that are like A to Z with newer stuff in it, and then I have my old stuff that's like A to Z with all that stuff, and it all just gets put in the new section, and I eventually file it into the older stuff. But who has time for that? Nothing. There was no facilitators fee because it was actually CBCS there. It was actually like their employees there. So I think I paid $20 even for the witness signature service basically, and I didn't have to pay anything. It's just gonna get billed to me later up front. So it was pretty slick. So plus shipping, of course, when it comes back, but it'll all come back together, so that won't be too bad. So yeah, we did that around then. So Buddy and I kind of walked around for a little bit. He was looking for some Lady Death stuff. I was looking for some X-Men stuff. I pulled a whole bunch of cool X-Men stuff. And then he took off. And then I went over to Frank Cho. Or no, what did I go? I think I went over to Kwanzaa first. I went over to Kwanzaa. And yeah, Pete, like it's so much more fun to like have everything all at once. So I'll kind of show off a bunch of stuff here. So again, I pulled all the X-Men stuff because that'll be in a later video. But I don't know if you guys remember. So Comics Elite allocated me on White #1, and it was an allocated title. But he had first prints there. And then he signed it, obviously, too. And then, I got a picture with him. You can see it on my Instagram. And I had a cool conversation with him. Like, I said, he's like, people are coming here and they're flipping this stuff or whatever. And I said, I'm just happy to like get a copy of this because I couldn't. They allocated it when I ordered it. I pre-ordered it. And he's like, yeah, sorry about that. That's my fault. And I was like, what? And he said like he had this whole cool, I won't tell the whole story, but he had this whole cool story about like how he wanted that rarity because he remembers going to his like grocery store with his mom when he was a kid. And like, if they didn't have that issue you were hunting for your next issue of whatever series, then you were just out of luck. You had to like run around to some other grocery stores and hope they had it or whatever. And he wanted like that kind of scarcity to it, or that kind of specialness to it. So that's just a really cool story. And he was a really cool guy. He was super nice. He was having a nice conversation with the guy in front of me that met him. And that's kind of why, another reason is I realized who he was. There was only one person standing there talking to him. So I was like, oh, I'm going to hop in line here and just talk to him. And I didn't get it, graded, obviously, sent off because I just thought it was just cool. I just wanted that comic. No, I'm not in this case. The one per store, like it might've been kind of nice to do that, but I didn't want to split up the order. We'll just see what it comes back. It looked like it was in decent shape. And then I knew my comic books were in decent shape. The Las Vegas I'm getting just for my own personal reasons, because I think it's a cool cover. Yeah, even the second and third print are kind of ridiculous. But I was just happy to get it. If I read it and I'm not super into the story or whatever, maybe I'll sell it down the road, just being 100% honest. But I thought it was kind of a cool experience to meet the guy. Those are more mail call kind of things. So like I said, I'm not showing the X-Men or stuff that I got, but I do still have some cool stuff. Trust me. One thing that's probably going to be really cool to let you guys. But so the other thing is I went to a booth for a shop that is actually somewhat local to the show, and I got a whole bunch of Venom. So the way that I worked this out is I picked up a book here. It's kind of my big like birthday present to myself. And then all these other books, they were marked up So anyway, if they were $10 or less, I got them for $1 each. And if they were $10 or more, I got them for 70% off. This is the only one that was more than $10, and I got it for $4, I think. So Lethal Protector number 2. My copy of Lethal Protector number 1 is off at CGC. This is a really high grade copy. It's got one little ding on it, I think, but that's really cool, right? And then I'll go through these a little quicker, but Sinner Takes All. And again, these were $1 each now, every single one of these. And that may not sound that impressive, but when you start adding them all up, and then on top of that, and these are the Remender series. And there's Spider Island. And then boom, Madness, the classic little Juggernaut cover there. It's kind of an embossed cover on his teeth there. So all those were $1. And then I got like 25, 30 X-Men comics there. 3 of them were Mark Jewelers variants. And I posted that up on my social media if you want to check those out. I mean, that was cool. I worked on my run big time. And then let's see how many people are in here. This is the thing you guys got to be excited about. Probably I got 10 people in here. This is, kind of was my present to myself. Buddy and I both drooled over it for a minute, and then I ended up going back and picking it up. So I wanted a copy before it's out of my range. This is not a near mint copy. This is probably like a VF minus VF, kind of in that range. But the price was right. So I am such a Star Wars fan. I had to have a copy. Of course, if I scoop up a better copy later on, great. And then I could sell this one or something, but just wanted to have one of those. And now I do. So I feel really happy about that. So that was the exciting big thing for me that I got there. Did they come bagged and boarded? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, they did. I've rebagged and boarded these, except for the stuff I'm about to show for the most part. Hey, Warlock, you're in here. Share link for what? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm sorry if you weren't asking me to share that, but yeah, she likes it too. So that was kind of nice, and then I kind of worked out a deal and everything because of that, so that was cool. This stuff is all there's a bunch of X-Men stuff that'll be coming up in my next X-Men video. So let's go over some just pickups real fast. You guys like comic books, right? I assume you like comic books. There's the Warren Liu Batman 89 cover. I didn't go crazy on that. Just got the trade dress because I just think it's a nice artwork. It's a sexy cover. I like Warren Liu's art, man. Speaking of liking Warren Liu's art, there's that Virgin Vampirella he did. I'd pre-ordered that a long time ago. Finally shipped out. Oh wow, the Mylar is it came in. I think this is that BCW Mylar that I don't like as much. Still looks good, but it doesn't protect as well. But it's actually split down the side there. That's really funny. But yeah, that's just it's a great cover. It's the bloody Virgin variant. It's a hell with the lights. But yeah, also a great cover. So this is kind of interesting. I'm not holding this backwards like that. I am holding it. The spine is right here, guys. So this was the 1 in 25 Dark Ages #1. And this was something that I thought was really interesting. Billy talked about this briefly. I think so. Diamond says this isn't an error, but I think it is. And I think they're saying it's not an error because they don't want to, so Diamonds, it's their last week. They switched over to Penguin. I don't think they want to reissue books. So I think they're kind of just like dancing around this one. Maybe Marvel will clarify on that one, but it's pretty interesting. And then before we get to the next one, just want to bring up, we got some different people in here. We got Collector P in here now. Just so you know, guys, we are doing a super chat prize giveaway. We're doing Gotham City Monsters trade paperback. This is a donation to the channel from Dangerous Waters Comics and More for the super chat giveaways. I'm gonna have stuff like this every week for a while. Yeah, if you super chat tonight, if you super chat $5, you get 5 chances to win. We've already got some people in the pool, so definitely consider that if you want to pick up a cool trade paperback. We were just talking about reading. That's a good thick, probably 100 and some odd pages of reading, or more even maybe. So not to do deja vu, but I got 2 copies of that 1 in 25 because I really thought there was something to this, and this is ridiculously cheap. Like, it's the cheapest 1 in 25 I've ever seen. So this was 2 different sellers, and then this seller threw in a free Comic Book Day Avengers, which is really cool. So I'll probably go into a giveaway or something at some point. So yeah, I don't know. Somebody asked me something on Instagram, and I think I answered your question. So if you have more questions about that, let me know. And then the last thing, picked this up from an Instagram seller. This is from Caped Crusader on Instagram. And he sent a free book along. X-Men Civil War 2, number 1, which is cool. Because I also got a couple X-Men books from him that'll be in that next video I do. But then the big book I picked up from him is What If Jane Foster Had Found the Hammer of Thor. So, not a near mint copy or whatever, but yeah, What If number 10. This book needs to go up, because when that trailer drops, this book is going to be on fire. When you see Natalie Portman as Thor, yeah, that's going to go nuts. Have you guys seen how Hawkeye number 1's doing with the Kate Bishop reveal for the MCU? So definitely check it out. Hey, that's cool, man. Have a good night. It's fucking 3 hours later on the East Coast. I get it. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And good luck on the super chat. So, let's see. Just replying to that person. So yeah, that's kind of the majority of what I got. You guys got any questions? Got any stuff you want to talk about? Let me know. I'm here to help. I'm here to discuss news. If there's stuff I missed that you guys wanted me to go over. I know there was a lot that happened. Wow, we got 17 people in here now. That's really cool. Thanks for all joining in. I know a lot of you were probably watching on the replay. We had some technical issues as I was trying to figure out how to do desktop sharing and streaming and stuff. We had some fumbling as I was looking for a cover I couldn't find for DC. But anyways, I think it's been a good time. That's a good question. Make sure I'm sharing that. What was your favorite part of Rose City Comic Con? God, the whole thing was really fun. Meeting Tony Fleeks, talking to him. Oh, I didn't even. So the other thing is the CBCS rep that was with me showed me their artist labels. They're coming out with artist labels. Very similar to what CGC does, except for the artist gets to like submit their labels they want on their stuff. They're getting paid for it too directly. And so, I don't know how much of that was really, he was just showing some guy to call in on his phone, but they looked cool. They're yellow background labels with art on the right-hand side. If you're looking at the front of the comic book, they're really cool. So just something I thought I would mention, that you can see coming out. I was a little surprised how openly they ragged on CGC. Not that I disagreed with anything they were saying, but it's pretty funny. Pete says, we're gonna eat a bacon cheeseburger and get sleep to wait in line at the LCS bronze and all be well. Yeah, absolutely, man. You be well as well. Good luck on that bacon cheeseburger. Nothing like eating a bacon cheeseburger right before passing out. If I did that, I would be having a hard time most of the nights, but good luck to you on that. Good job. Oh, to the person that just messaged me. Yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I don't have a way to bring anybody into the stream. I don't do this through StreamYard. So, the only way I could do it is if like we were on a Skype call or something like that. I could kind of make it look like we're on there or something like that. But I don't have a way to do that. I'd have to fire up a different stream and use the free version of StreamYard, which I don't enjoy. And I don't want to pay for it until there's a reason to, but I probably will start having some guests on at some point. People kind of wonder about that. I keep saying this and it's just tough because there's getting videos out and having a real life on top of it is hard. And I know that is something a lot of YouTubers say, but when you're on the other side of it, you finally do see that that's true. But I do want to make this more like a traditional live show. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, is that I'll keep trying to get that, with guests and co-hosts and that kind of stuff, more just every once in a while, not like every show, but, for sure. SGS, was there a big turnout at the con or people staying away? Just curious. So I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was so spread out that it looked like there weren't very many people, there, but really, if you squish down the aisles were super huge. It was really like they could have crammed it in a lot shorter space, a lot smaller space, and it would have looked extremely packed. But they spread it out on purpose. And it was really safe. Like you had to prove you were vaccinated before you went in or have a negative PCR test, result, which I'm sure some people probably faked or whatever, but for the most part, it felt pretty safe. Masks were required the entire time. You can only take your mask down if you were taking a photo, and they were enforcing it, like, for sure. And everybody was being pretty good about it. It's also in Portland. I think downtown Portland is a place where a lot of people are going to be pretty respectful of that in general. I know people are like, what? No, they're not. Well, compared to a lot of other cities, yeah, I bet you they are. And people were doing really good, and there was a lot of safety measures in place, it looked like. So I think it was pretty good. I would be like, if it was in a different city or something, I probably would have been a lot more nervous about going. Was Comic Dose, was that the name of that channel that did that? I have already talked about it on a previous live stream. Are you talking about the Sarah Pacelli signature that he forged and then sent in? Brick Hunter? Yeah, I've talked about that. Just a quick recap, because why not? I, on the CBCS side of things, it's not good for them. Do I have a Sarah Pacelli signed Ultimate Fallout 4 that I plan on sending to them? Yeah, I do. I kind of waited a little bit for things to die down. I have a comic that's it's a quadruple signed Ultimate Fallout 4 that I want to send in. It's like Clayton Crane, Sarah Pacelli, and Nick Spencer. Maybe it's just triple. Yeah, just triple signed, because Nick Spencer's the other signature on it. And yeah, I want to send it in. I kind of waited to see what was going on. It's an interesting experiment. I don't think it was necessarily ethical of that guy to do it. What my thoughts on it really are, I never thought CBCS signature authentication was 100% accurate. There's almost no way it could be. That said, like, I know people that I know for sure really submitted stuff that were really signed by that individual, and they came back declined. Not non-authenticated. Like, for example, somebody I was talking to at Rose City Comic Con had a Stan Lee signed book that got declined. And Stan Lee, for a while in the 90s, was it late 90s? For a while, he was having some hard times, and he was signing with his left hand. But he really signed it. And there are other examples of him signing that way. And you look at it and you can tell. But it came back declined. But that's just an extreme example. There's other people that have sent in books and they've gotten declined. And there's other people who have sent in books probably that weren't really signed by that person, but the signature looks close enough that they're willing to authenticate it. The real question is, and it'd be interesting to see CBCS comment on this. The real question is, what's the error rate? Is it 1%? Is it 5%? And I think that's what really matters. But at the end of the day, I think that I have a high degree of confidence. If you look at Sarah Pacelli's signature, it's a circle. I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but it's very, if you've sat there and practiced it for a while, it's pretty easy to fake. And then there's people like, I think it'd be like very hard to fake. Like Chris Claremont's signature is ridiculous. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting for sure. I don't know that I really like have been affected by it in a way that like I wouldn't submit to him ever, or I mean, I haven't. I'll still do that. I would still buy authenticated books, but I might skew towards somebody who has like more unique signatures for that. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people are still gonna buy those books. I think what the more interesting thing is just the CBCS versus CGC in general, and the dichotomy that people are in with that, the choosing between those two authenticators and verification services out there. But yeah, it's an interesting topic. I know it, got people talking for sure. But yeah, so I don't see any new chat coming through. So let's give you guys about a 1 minute warning here for super chat. Again, we got some people at 4 people so far. You could win this. All you gotta do is super chat. Every $1 you super chat gives you an entry to win this book right here. I will ship this out when I ship out stuff for my auction. So by auction's Friday, I'll be shipping stuff out probably by Monday. So keep that in mind. It'll probably ship out a few days later. Well, so Brick Hunter saying that's why the red label made sense. To me, verified being yellow label now is a money grab. I would say there's a lot of people though that wouldn't have bought the red labels. Because the whole color labeling thing is actually kind of weird anyway, because like nobody wants to buy a CGC red label, and they meant different things, but it's really weird. I don't think I'd have a problem with there being like a different looking label at all for CBCS. I wish they had a different label, period. But I think that if you had some kind of distinction, it would be cool. But to me, there's a lot of people that just wouldn't submit to CBCS for authentication unless it got a yellow label at all. So I think from their perspective, I can't blame them for doing it. I think it looks cleaner. Like all signatures should have a yellow label unless it's like the green label situation with CGC, for example, where it's like, hey, we don't know who signed that. There's writing on the cover, which is, silly if you do that, unless you're buying that just to crack it out or whatever. Or it's for your personal collection and you just don't care. But yeah, I'm personally okay with it, I guess, in general is kind of the moral of the story, but it is definitely a strange thing, right? Okay, so kind of everybody had their chance to do any super chats, so let's go ahead and draw the winner for that. Gonna get awkward again as I try to make this work. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna take me a couple minutes to do this, guys, so if you do have any other questions or whatever, feel free to throw them out there. I need to hide the live chat because it'll get in the way. And then you do random.org. Use of cookies necessary between 1 and 26. Does that work? That really? So we're gonna do it once. I gotta show this. It was a mini series, Brick Hunter. It was like a 5-issue, I believe. Can't get rid of the nerd news, my bad. So I'm gonna hit generate 1 through 5, and then I'm gonna generate a number, and that's how many times I'll hit generate once I actually do the real giveaway. You'll understand why I do it here. So 3. So when I type in, there's 26 entries essentially, and I'm gonna hit generate 3 times. When I'm done hitting 3, that is our winner. 1, 2, 3, and it's 10. This is really funny for him to be on the other side of this. So there we go. Make sure that's working again. So the winner is EIC, which is Economics and Comics. So Economics and Comics wins this trade paperback, Gotham City Monsters. So thank you for the super chats, everybody. Billy, you're probably not watching this on the rewatch. You're just a busy man. But I'm going to mail that out after I get done mailing out my stuff for the auctions. And congratulations to all the winners. And thank you, everybody that donated. I really do appreciate it. So we're going to jump off here. Been going for about an hour and a half. It's about perfect. Slot says, goodness reports say Rose City Comic-Con was a bust. Would you believe it's a trend in the market? It didn't seem like a bust to me. I mean, I was there on Friday, and I don't know, by what metric was it a bust, Slots? Like just overall ticket sales? I mean, considering everything going on, like I'm not surprised if it was down, but it also depends on what they were expecting. And I know a ton of people were like, oh, it doesn't look like so many people here. And again, it was really spread out. Yeah, have a good night, Brick Hunter. Absolutely. Good night to you too. So I don't know. It looked like a good time, and I wasn't there on Saturday, which is going to be the busiest day by far. Yeah, that's going to kind of wrap it up for us. Thanks to everybody for joining into the show. If you're watching on the rewind, thank you very much. These will reports you don't know. I don't know either. But yeah, I mean, if you figure out where it was from, hit me up. I mean, but yeah, thanks everybody for joining in. I hope you have a great week. I will have a video up later this week. And again, I do have that live auction on Friday. You can check out. It's going to be at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern. It's going to go for several hours. Again, I'm going to have slabs. I'm going to have modern stuff, spec books, all that kind of fun stuff that everybody likes to go after in auctions. If you are still watching this, go over and check out Aegis Comics of Alaska. They're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. They're a great comic book shop. They play my videos in their store. They can't be all bad. No, they're really awesome. They're good owners. So go check them out. Let's see if we can get them over 1,000 guys. And I just want to wish everybody a good night. Thank you for joining into the stream. I remind everybody to read comics every day. That's how I'm going to end this one because my voice is starting to go. I think it's going to be a little bit better. So have a great night, everybody, and I will see you on the next one.